Hello, everyone, and welcome to November's special webinar, Shop Smart on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. My name is Stephanie Hayes Levi. I'm a community outreach specialist here at Ent Credit Union, and we put together this great 30-minute webinar just to kind of get you thinking on how you can attack those Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. So, whether you love the thrill of hunting for those deals or you're just trying to stretch your dollars during the holidays, this webinar is designed to help save you money, reduce stress, and shop with intention rather than impulse. Black Friday and the holiday season can be really exciting, but it's also one of the easiest times to overspend without even realizing it. Retailers are really good at creating hype, urgency, and FOMO, or that fear of missing out, that convince us to buy more than we planned. So by the end of today's session, you'll have practical strategies to stay in control of your spending, recognize those psychological traps that lead to overspending, and hopefully learn to make those confident, informed decisions. So, our key takeaways today, we're going to look at some of the smartest strategies for avoiding overspending. And I promise these are going to be realistic and not too extreme. Then we'll explore how retailers actually influence our decisions and spending behavior. Black Friday is a masterclass in consumer psychology, and understanding it will help you recognize when you're being nudged to spend just a little bit more. We'll talk about the timing of your purchases because sometimes the best deals don't have to be on Black Friday or that Cyber Monday. So I'll share what to buy when and what we could potentially wait on. And finally, we'll outline steps you can take to protect yourself financially during the holiday season so you don't start the new year off with regret or in debt. The goal here is just for you to walk away today feeling empowered, confident, and prepared to shop with clarity instead of chaos. So this is just a great little visual of how we're spending as Americans during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday time period. So you see there last year, $10.8 billion was spent online during Black Friday, and that was up 10% from 2023. Cyber Monday had 13.3 billion. No surprise that that was a big online day as well. The biggest online shopping day ever with $15.8 million spent per minute just between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m. So that's pretty crazy. And then I love this little stat here that 53% of holiday spending was done via mobile devices. That was something I was kind of surprised about at first, but then I'm kind of thinking about how I've been doing my shopping lately. And I have several retailer apps. Maybe I sign up for some text through retailers to get special discounts. And sometimes it takes you right to the site and you can purchase it online. So I guess as I'm looking back, it's not all that surprising, but this is just to show what a massive day Black Friday and Cyber Monday is for the economy and for our pocketbooks, really. So, moving on to the psychology of Black Friday. Black Friday isn't just about discounts, it's really about that psychology. Retailers know exactly how to trigger those emotions and decision making. And one of the biggest influences is scarcity and FOMO, that fear of missing out. Those scarcity tactics like only three left or sale ends in 2 hours, our brain goes into that urgency mode. Nearly 70% of shoppers say they overspend on Black Friday because they're afraid of missing out on a deal. Another big factor is what we call that deal rush dopamine hit. And I certainly feel this at times. So hopefully you can relate. But it's scoring a bargain actually lights up that reward center of your brain, just like winning a game or finding $20 in your coat pocket, right? After the season. It feels exciting, and that feeling can really drive those impulse decisions. Then there's anchoring. So this is when stores might show an item for a higher amount, but mark it down substantially. That number, that higher amount, is going to become your mental anchor. So even if that deal price that it's marked down to isn't a great deal at all, we look at that comparison and be like, wow, it's $50 off. I'm going to be saving so much money, right? And that anchors us to a perceived deal that may not be a deal at all. So just know some of these tactics before you kind of jump into that Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopping. It's going to help you stay aware and make choices based on logic and less on emotion and that pressure that you might feel when you're in those situations. Now that we understand a little bit about the psychology behind Black Friday, let's talk about some specific red flags to watch for. These are common tactics retailers use to make something look like a better deal than it actually is. So we talked about that anchored pricing on the last slide, but if you see something that's like was $199 now 129, be cautious. Retailers sometimes inflate the original price so the sale looks more impressive. And always, if you can, do a quick price comparison before believing that discount. So if you have your smartphone on you, you can check out another retailer and see if they offer that same product and what that price looks like. Next, countdown timers and only 3 left messages. These are designed to create that false sense of urgency. Sometimes they're real, but often they aren't. So don't let a timer make the decision for you. I see that a lot when I'm doing my shopping on Amazon. It's kind of like a countdown for a deal of the day. You're only going to get it at this price for the next couple hours. But honestly, sometimes I throw it in my cart and I leave it in there for a couple days and it hasn't really changed price or substantially changed price. So keep in mind that's just another tactic to get you to buy now. Another red flag, those inflated original prices. A number of Black Friday sales match the same prices that those items were selling for months earlier. So the discount, while it sounds like it's new and it's a great deal, it might not be new at all. It might have been selling for less at a different point in time that year. And finally, doorbusters. So these are those super low priced items meant to pull people in. They're usually limited in stock, they're lower quality, and they're only available in store. But the goal of a doorbuster is to get you to come into the store so you end up buying other items at full price because you're like, I'm here, I got my doorbuster item, and now you start kind of looking around the store and maybe doing some additional shopping that you didn't really plan for. So if you keep these red flags in mind, you're going to spot those fake deals faster and protect your budget from those impulse traps. So what do we do now? Now we know a little bit of the psychology of it. We know some traps that we could fall victim to. But the most effective ways to stay in control of our Black Friday is to create a simple spending plan. Think of this as a mini budget specifically for the holiday sales. We talk at Ent a lot about creating a spending plan throughout the year, but you can absolutely build that mini budget just for these holiday shopping days. First, we're going to set a maximum spending limit for the entire weekend or shopping period. So decide in advance what you're comfortable spending and be honest with yourself about what you can actually afford, not just what sounds good to you in the moment or maybe what you spent last year, right? Next, make a short list of your priority items only. This isn't a wish list for everything that you want to buy or that you'd love to buy. It's a realistic list of the top items you truly need or have intentionally planned for. If it's not on your list, it should require a pause before purchasing. Maybe put some time and space before you actually go through with the purchase to see if it's really something that you need. Then assign a specific budget per store, per person, or per category. So, for example, maybe you're allowing $200 for gifts, $150 for household items, and $100 for personal purchases. allocating in advance helps you avoid those, oops, I didn't realize how fast it added up feeling, when you're going to check out. Um, Oftentimes, I never even set a personal number for me when I was doing my shopping. And I learned over time, a lot of the times I'm going and shopping for other people, I find deals that I want too. So I think creating a spending plan where you have a little bit of money to spend on yourself is always a good idea. So it's pretty simple, straightforward, these three steps. It doesn't need to be complicated. What matters is just having that spending plan in place because going in with a plan means you're making a decision on purpose and not under that pressure. A few simple strategies that can save you a surprising amount of money. First, we want to compare the unit price, not the package price. Retailers can make a product look cheaper by changing the package size, especially on those household goods. So the unit price tells you that real cost. I always fall victim to this on Amazon. Sometimes I forget to look at that unit price and then it ships to me and I'm like, wow, this is much smaller than I looked or thought it was going to be, according to the picture. Next, stack your savings. Look for ways to combine those discounts. So, a coupon, a store promotion, maybe there's a cashback portal, and rewards if you're using a credit card. So, for example, you might use a store coupon, get 5% back through a cashback portal, and pay it on a rewards credit card, all in that same purchase. So, it's those small stacking of those savings that are going to add up really quickly. Finally, be sure to check return and price match policies. Some stores offer extended return windows for holiday purchases, some don't. Others might offer or might reduce price matching during the Black Friday weekend. So maybe they're a little less likely to price match. Knowing this ahead of time can help you avoid getting stuck with something that you really don't want or missing out on a better price somewhere else. So these strategies don't take much extra time, but they can help protect your budget and make sure you're getting your true value of the items you want. Researching prices ahead of time is going to make Black Fridays so much easier, right? You can track those prices before the sale. This allows you to recognize those genuine discounts when they do appear. So remember, comparing prices across multiple retailers is going to be crucial to ensure that you're getting the best possible deal. And use those ads and price matching as powerful tools in that process. So on the screen here, we included some popular browser extensions that you can download to your laptop or personal computer. And what that does is as you're shopping on some of these retailer websites, it could be Amazon, Target, things like that. These extensions are looking for cheaper price discounts at other websites for that same product. And I have one that kind of pops up and tells me, hey, I found these shoes cheaper on this website. So Honey, Camel, 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 and Capital One Shopping, those came up time and again on our research about the more popular ones. I'm by no means saying that these are perfect or the best extensions to use. It just seemed like they were kind of coming up a lot as I was looking, but there are other ones. I think Microsoft has its own browser extension for shopping as well, but just find something that you're comfortable with and that works for you because they can assist in tracking those price changes and finding those additional savings. So, what are the best days for certain products? We put together this quick little list, and I'm sure it's no surprise as we've all seen news stories over the years of people running into big box stores to purchase their flat screen TV. But yes, Black Friday is still a great day to buy TVs and techs, appliances as well. So, this is actually great for a personal purchase if you've been meaning to buy a new appliance. Maybe you have an old washer or refrigerator or something that you're looking to replace. Black Friday typically has some really good deals for those appliances and tools as well. Cyber Monday, you'll still find great electronics online, smart home technology. You'll see the Google Nest and Amazon Alexa and all that. They typically have deeper discounts on those items during Cyber Monday. And then beauty supplies seem to pop up a lot. So if you shop those bigger stores, the Ultas and Sephoras, they might have some really nice bundling deals or some deep discounts on those beauty supplies. So that could be good for you to kind of stock up on something that you need or to look for those gift items for those that you're giving gifts to this season. And then moving into that final festive season, that early December is a fantastic opportunity to find deals on the toys, decor, apparel, right? That's kind of when traditionally most people start to kind of decorate and really get out there and start shopping. So you still will find some good deals on those items. Of course, after the holiday season, if you have the money, that is a great time to find those deep discounted on that holiday decor as well. So just remember that while these days are going to offer great bargains, always check to see if that deal aligns with your needs and your budget because we want to avoid those budget busters. We want to do a Black Friday gut check. And this can really save us a lot of money if we're determining what is that need and what is that want. So, was it on our list? Is it truly discounted? Will it make life better in January? These are all questions that we want to ask ourselves as we're kind of making these purchasing decisions. When we think about needs and wants, a need is something that is necessary, useful, or planned, like replacing that broken appliance or buying gifts you've already budgeted for. A want is going to be that something that's nice to have. Maybe it's impulsive or emotionally driven, like buying a trendy gadget, a new Apple Watch, just because it's 40% off, right? Another helpful mental filter is this. Just like this question asks, will it make life better in January? Will this still matter in 30 days from now? Because if we don't care about it when that excitement fades, what, like, that's kind of a clue that it might not belong in our cart, right? So I am a big fan. I talk about this in our regular budgeting class that we do often. It's just putting time and space between those decisions that we're unsure about, maybe that, is emotionally charged even. Put it in your cart or write it down, let it sit, let it simmer, and then still decide if you're excited about it to make that purchase. So we're not trying to say no to everything that's fun. It's really about making sure your spending aligns with your goals and values because if you choose a want, you want to choose it with intention, not just because it's on sale, it's deeply discounted, right? Cashback and rewards can be an amazing tool during Black Friday if you use them wisely. So start by using cashback apps and portals when shopping online. It only takes an extra click, and many offer anywhere from 1 to 10% back during the holiday season. So over time, this can really add up to some meaningful savings. Next, credit card rewards can boost your savings too. Many cards offer between 1 and 5% back on purchases, but just remember the benefit only works if you pay for your balance in full, or if you pay your balance in full, excuse me. If you carry a balance from month to month, that interest is really going to wipe out any value that that reward gives to you. So think about cash back and rewards as a bonus, not just a reason to spend more during the holiday season. So if you were going to buy that item anyway, great, put those savings to work, but avoid making purchases just because of those rewards. So we want to think strategy first, rewards second. Buy now, pay later programs. We've been seeing this pop up quite a lot, and a lot of people have questions surrounding these programs. So you might have heard of some of them, like Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm. they're just really everywhere right now, and especially big during those holiday sales. These buy now, pay later platforms, they can really make a purchase feel more affordable, but they do come with risks. So you see all of these stats on the screen here, but just to kind of back that up, buy now, pay later can make it easier to overspend because you're not really feeling that full cost up front. So if you're doing four small payments of $25, that's going to feel a lot lighter than $100 today that you're spending. But if we're doing this on multiple websites or with multiple retailers, multiply that across all of those purchases, and that's going to add up really fast. So, what we're seeing out there is that sometimes people get stuck in this cycle with these added late fees, right? And it seems like there's a payment coming out every other day if they're overextended with these buy now, pay later programs. So there's late fees, and if the card linked to that buy now, pay later payment, um, could impact your credit. It could potentially cause you to overdraft your checking account if it's set up through your checking account, if you're not monitoring those payments closely enough of when they're due. So if you do choose to use buy now, pay later, make sure you track everything and you're tracking all of the payment due dates and know exactly how much you'll owe for the next few weeks. Because some of them are monthly, some of them are bi-weekly. I don't know if there's a smaller frequency if they pull out every week. But you can see if you have one or two items on buy now, pay later, how that might be easy to manage. It's the more you add. It feels like you're getting a deal because you're not paying a lot up front, but it really adds up when you're making payments all the time. If there's any doubt, skip it because the goal here is to protect yourself from starting that new year with this financial stress and paying off that debt. On to gift giving. So, gift giving is one of the biggest sources of holiday overspending, and it's also one of the easiest to bring under control without losing that joy of giving. So, start by setting a limit per person. I like to personally do this, kind of write out my list of everyone that's getting a gift that year, and then just kind of categorize how much I want to be or how much I can spend on each person. This keeps your total gift budget realistic and prevents those last minute impulse buys that blow your budget. So create a simple gift list and stick to it. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just write down who you're buying for, what you plan to purchase, and that spending limit because having that plan makes your shopping feel more intentional and less reactive. How many times have you found yourself like coming close to that end of that December, right? If we celebrate Christmas or something like that, and we're just hitting up all those doorbusters and trying to find some last minute gifts just to take to a party. And they're really not meaningful. They don't hold any specific, like, special place in our hearts for it, right? We're just kind of buying things to give to people. We're not really thinking through that. So we want to be less reactive in that regard. And remember, they don't have to be expensive to be meaningful. Experiences work great. Handwritten letters. I love a good DIY gift, or if somebody does baked goods, I think that's a great gift if you like baking. Or maybe it's just shared time together. Maybe, especially for your friends, maybe it's just some time carved out where you guys can go to dinner in the new year or something and can spend that quality time together that we often don't get with each other. So sometimes these can be just more appreciated than those store-bought items that don't really take any personal touch or planning there. Another good, simple gift giving strategy that can make holiday gifting more intentional and less stressful for both your wallet and your mental load is called the four gift rule. I just heard about that this year, and I think it's pretty great. I think I'm going to try to implement it into my buying habits this holiday season. So the idea is to give just four meaningful gifts, especially if you have children or a large family to buy for. Instead of just piling on dozens of presents, you choose one gift from each of these categories. So something they want, this is that fun gift. It's the item they've been hinting at or maybe truly hoping for. Something they need. This is a practical gift that adds value to their everyday life. So think of an item that would improve a routine or help with school, work, or maybe even health. Something to wear. This could be clothing, shoes, accessories, or even seasonal items like pajamas or a nice robe or winter coat. And then something to read, books, journals, subscriptions, or anything that encourages that learning and personal growth. The purpose behind this rule is really just to keep gift giving meaningful rather than excessive. So it helps families stay on budget, avoid those impulse buys, and shift the focus back to connection and experience rather than quantity of gifts. This rule doesn't just work, if we have small kids, it's great for adults too. You can even adapt it to fit your household, like adding a fifth category, something to do, which is a great experience-based gift, like maybe tickets or some family outing. If you're looking to reduce that financial pressure this year or stick to a more mindful holiday season, the four gift rule is an excellent framework to use. So let's talk about one of the most important parts of holiday shopping, and that's protecting yourself from debt. The reality is that many people begin the new year already stressed because of the spending choices made in November and December. But with a few intentional decisions, you can avoid that pattern. Start by setting a clear holiday spending limit. We already showed you how to create that spending plan. This is going to include your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and even the weeks leading up to the holidays. When you set a limit up front, you're giving yourself a boundary that protects your future financial self. A good rule to follow is this: if you can't pay it off by your January statement, skip it or just adjust the purchase altogether. Black Friday savings mean nothing if you end up paying interest on that purchase for months. So a $200 deal isn't really a deal if we have to pay the interest each month. Remember, debt erases savings. A discount is only valuable if it supports your financial goals rather than working against them. Being intentional now can set you up to enter the new year financially confident instead of overwhelmed. And lastly, another way to shop smart financially and intentionally is to shop in a way that aligns with your values. So, in previous budgeting classes, you might hear us talk about um, creating a budget, a value-based budget that is in line with your values because it's really important and it helps us stick to our goals. It helps us more clearly reach our goals and kind of understand what those goals are if we align it with things that are important to us. So things that you can do to kind of support this value and goal holiday season mission, right? Consider supporting those small or local businesses, especially on that small business Saturday, so you can kind of check locally and see when they are doing that. When you shop locally, you're supporting real families, your community, and in many cases, you're getting a higher quality, longer lasting product. So it makes you feel good all around. Think about cost per use, not just the sticker price. A $50 item you use 50 times is going to be a better investment than a $20 item that you use twice. Quality, durability, and usefulness matter more than that initial price tag. And finally, choose quality over quantity. It's better to buy one well-made gift that truly fits someone's needs than buy several smaller items just because they were on sale, right? Value-based shopping feels better, it lasts longer, and helps reduce both financial and mental clutter. So that concludes our presentation on Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping. I hope you feel equipped with the tools that you need to get out there and snag those deals. If you would ever like to talk to anyone at ENT about budgeting, maybe it's setting up your holiday budget, or maybe it's setting your budget for the year, or creating a savings goal, learning about your credit score, how you can improve it, rebuilding, and then talking debt repayment, we have wonderful financial coaches at ENT that can sit down with you virtually or in person and kind of review your whole financial picture and help you get on the right track as we go into 2026. It is all free, it is not sales driven, and it's open to members and non-members alike. So scan that QR code or visit us at ent.com/coaching and schedule a free session with one of our wonderful financial coaches. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy holiday season and happy shopping.